Hello class, today we are going to have a special lesson. We are going to have a look at NECA Real Toys Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street, the 2010 edition. We might rant about that a little bit more in a second, but we'll have a look at the figure in the package and then we'll open it up and we'll have a closer look at Freddy. So here at the bottom we can see an up-close look of Freddy there, reflection of my tripod, and there it is, Freddy Krueger, and it is for ages 17 and up. On the side, we've got another image of Freddy. I think it's, I'm not quite sure if it's supposed to be a sketch, and it's got some graffiti in the background. The other side, we've got a silhouetted image of Freddy there. It's a little bit harder to see because of the glare. Then on the back, what do we got here? We've got another picture of Freddy. We've got the glove with the knives on it. Who wouldn't want to have one of those, by the way? That'd be awesome. And just in case we don't know, a quick biography. A group of suburban teenagers share a common bond. They all are being stalked by Freddy Krueger. Trademark. A horribly disfigured killer who hunts them in their dreams. As long as they stay awake, they can protect one another, but when they sleep, there is no escape. Sorry. Actually, that's not really much of a biography of Freddy Krueger as much of a description of the movie itself. So he's the dude who goes around and slashes people with the knives on his digits, and he does other horrible things as the original series went on. Now, the story behind this figure for me getting it is something I thought about getting for a long time. For a while anyway. Because I did enjoy the 2010 movie, and I saw this, and I thought, oh, you know, maybe I should get it. They had it at Best Buy. I could not believe I found this at Best Buy, and it was $5. I want to show you why. See? That's dust. It's been sitting on the shelves for a little while now. So I figured, you know what? $5, let's get a Freddy Krueger. So I think what we're going to do is, I'm going to open up this figure, and we will have a closer look at Freddy Krueger.
So, here we have the action figure incarnation of Jackie Earle Haley as Fred Krueger. Now, Jackie Earle Haley, we might also remember as somebody else. I don't know who'd win in this fight. Because, I mean, he's mortal and he goes into dreams, but would you want to go in this guy's dreams? Seriously. Entering Rorschach's dreams would not be a good idea. I think Rorschach would kick his ass. Just saying. Anyways. So yeah, now, again, I'm going to try really hard to not rant about the new movie because, you know, that could be a good idea for another time. Anyways. I know it's Jackie Earle Haley and it's not Robert Englund, and that had a lot of people miffed from the beginning, and by that virtue, a lot of people may not like this figure just for that reason. But, since I do like Jackie Earle Haley, and I did like the new movie, I thought this was worth getting, and so we can have a closer look at him. This is my first NECA figure, I believe. I don't think I have any other ones, so it's kind of an experience for me. But as we can see here on the head, let's start with the sculpt first. I gotta say, the sculpt is really amazing on this figure. I don't know how well my camera is gonna pick it up, but we can see how his whole head is burned and scarred and kind of scaly, and we've got a little bit of flesh missing on his cheek, and his ears are gone. Even then again on the other side. And we can see the sweater has all the texture as if it was something that was knitted. And if you've had knitted sweaters, you'd be pissed off too, because they're itchy. At least if they're real wool. Maybe not if they're some kind of blend of other yarn. So it's red and it's green, which we'd expect. We can see some of the burn marks on the sweater as well, which is funny because his face more or less melted off all of his hair, but somehow the sweater stayed intact, mostly. Again, we got a few burn marks on the chest, and we've got them on the back as well. And the legs, well, again, these just as regular trousers, but again, they have texture to them. It's not just a smooth leg. We can see all the wrinkles in the legs and cute little ass there. Whoa, whoa. Anyways, we've got the cuffs of his jeans and even his boots, and they do look more like boots than just, well, maybe they're Doc Martens. I don't know. Anyways, see his shoes there, and again, we've got the texture even for the soles of the shoes, which is kind of cool. If you look at his hand, you can even see the bones in his hand and how wrinkled and scarred they are as well, which is really nice. And of course, the claw hand over here. We can see again the detail to have the little rivets holding it together. We've got some, well, the blood is pretty bright red. It's not really blood-like, but that's okay. And even on the inside, we can see the fleshy part in the mitt there. Very nice. And again, we can see some wrinkles in the sweater. The sculpt on this thing is really, really nice. They did a really good job on that. And for the colors, I mean, it's what we'd expect from Fred Krueger. When I saw a documentary, it's called Never Sleep Again, and if you like Nightmare on Elm Street, you should watch it. And they talk about how the reason they chose this color for the sweater is that red and green is supposed to be the two hardest colors to look at the same time. So it's not that he's a Christmas villain. It's not like he's going to take on Billy or Ricky from Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's just that it would be a color combination that's hard to look at. And the pants, you know what? I don't think we've ever paid any attention to Fred Krueger's pants. And that's probably a good thing. I mean, why would we? And of course, the rest of him, he's all kind of fleshy colored. It's pretty good. Now, in terms of articulation, the head is actually on a double ball joint. We'll see that a little bit more detail in a minute. So we can't move it all the way around, and we can move it up and down. We can rotate it a little bit, which is nice. The arms are going to rotate around. They will move out a little bit. Back down. We're going to bend at the elbow, and there's, I believe, and also, yep, it's on a ball joint there, so we can rotate. And the hands are on, it looks like a ball joint as well, so we can move that around. So we can do the same thing with the other side, and then obviously it's going to be a lot better when we're dealing with the claw hand, which is nice. The waist, I don't know if it's going to turn all the way around or not. It turns a little bit, and I have this feeling if I try to turn it all the way around, I'll have wasted $5, because I'll snap the piece of crap thing. Absolutely, I shouldn't say that. The legs, nothing. Absolutely nothing at all. They don't move, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, more so than DCUC figures and Transformers and things like that, this is not a figure that I think is really meant to be played with. It's meant to just stand there and look kind of cool. So really, if the legs are in one bit, it probably will be easier to stand up. At least that's what we're hoping for. And the feet, we can move them a little bit. Looks like they're on ball joints. They're obstructed a little bit by the pant legs. But again, we don't need to move them that much. We just have to adjust his ankles to make sure he can stand up. Now, in terms of accessories for this figure, we see him here with his scaly bald head. He does come with his hat, and it is a soft plastic. Even if we look at the detail of this for a second, we can see, whoa, I'm going to lose my camera there. We can see here that they've made a point of making it look a little bit grungy and dirty. A couple of marks in it. Very, very nice. And it is a soft plastic, so we can put it on his head. And there we go. Now, I've actually put it on incorrectly. Gonna have to do something about that. Keep losing my camera. Because only nerds put their hat on straight. You gotta make it just a little bit crooked. There we go. So we've got his hat. It's very nice, so we can cover his eyes a little bit, make him look a little more menacing when he's about to rip somebody open. But if that wasn't enough, we can pop this off, and we can do something that every kid has wanted to do to Freddy Krueger. Oh my goodness! Off came his head. Ooh. Okay. He does come with an alternate head. You know what? I'm just going to let the camera sit like that. Because I think I'm probably going to end up knocking it over. My apologies. So, whoa. He does come with an alternate head. Maybe we'll take a closer look at that. We can see there's a little more damage here on this side of the face than he has there. It almost looks like he's healed a little bit. So the damage is a little bit fresh. We can see some blood in there, which is nice. And his face is a little more screwed up. He looks like he's about to pee glass. Or he's in the process of peeing glass, and that's why he's kind of snarling a little bit. Because I probably would too. And even the scales on his head seem a little more pronounced. Of the two, I have to say, oh, I like this head better. It just looks, I don't know, a little scarier, a little more menacing. And we can see that we've got this ball on the top, which is part of the ball joint for the neck, and it moves on its own as well. Okay. Be cool to, like, get Mr. T's head and put it on there. Anyways, so we're just going to pop this on. There we go. And we have a slightly more menacing head for Freddy Krueger. Now, the one thing I wish he did have is, I mean, the alternate head is nice, especially since I like the alternate head better than the one that he had in the packaging. I wish he had alternate hands. The one non-gloved hand, his left hand, it's almost like in a straight kind of, oh my goodness, pose, and that doesn't do a whole lot for me. It seems stiff, as it were. This one looks good. It's got kind of the one pose of, come here, I'm gonna rip your throat open. Or you can even have him reaching out a little bit, which is also nice. But I would have liked it if he came with an extra claw hand. Maybe one that one could be a little more stiff, like he's about to slash somebody open or something. It's a minor gripe. It is. Because the claw itself has character, which is nice. But it would have been nice if they, you know, could spend the time and have a extra head if they had extra set of hands as well. But we won't dwell on that too much. All in all, you know what? It's a good figure. I have to say, I'm liking this Fred Krueger figure more and more. So, if I were to grab my handy-dandy whiteboard and smoke Freddy there and get him out of my way, we can talk about some of the pluses and minuses, some of the good things and the bad things about this figure. We're going to zoom in just a little bit. So, we've got our positives in orange on the left. So, the sculpt is really good. Good sculpt. Can we see that? The detail is really good. Like, really, really good. I have to say, I do. Oh, that's kind of a cool effect. He looks all darker there. So, we've got lots of detail on the figure. That is really nice. I do like the hat, and the reason is it's a soft plastic. It does come off, like we said, and then we can put it back on. And it's good for when you're switching his heads, too, if you want. I do like that. It's just an extra level of detail. And I'm going to put the claw has character. And that's one of the things I like. I really do like that. Now, on the negative side of things, and because I'm kind of a geek, I like using different colors, we have low articulation. Actually, low articulation. Articulation. I'm not an English professor. Shut up if I can't spell. Now, he doesn't move too much. Now, for some people, that's not a problem. I'm used to doing things like the DC figures and the Transformers, which tend to have a lot more moving joints, a lot more moving parts. So you can't pose him as much, but you know what? That's a minor gripe. I would have liked an extra claw. Something, again, that looks like he's about to strike or something along those lines. Not saying that this one is bad. I would have just liked another one. Probably more than the extra head. And then, for some people, this doesn't bother me as much. I'm just going to write 2010. A lot of people just won't like the fact that it's not Robert Englund. It is Jackie Earle Haley. It is the 2010 version, which I know some people didn't like because it wasn't the original and it wasn't the right guy. Well, here's the thing. Knives on the fingers can be scary. Knives on a walker, not so much. Okay, unless it's one of my grandparents, and then I'd probably just run away. But, you know, things change. We have different bonds, and I know nobody likes anyone better than Sean Connery, etc., etc. But the simple fact of the matter is, Robert Englund's getting old. And, you know, if we want to revive the franchise or reboot the franchise or something, maybe we do have to pass on the torch. And I think Jackie Earle Haley was scary as hell as Freddy Krueger. So if I were to grade this figure, and I will, because that's what I do, Fred Krueger here, I have to give a grade of, we'll move him over the side, he gets an A. This figure is awesome. I do like it a lot. It's got character. Despite my fiddling, it does stand up pretty well. It's got some nice nice accessories, the hat and the extra head, which is nice because I like that one better than the first one. And you know what? All things considered, especially how much I paid for it, I think it's a worthy addition for any kind of horror collection, which is something I might be moving into, I'm hoping. We'll see. So there you have it. That, I believe, is going to be our lesson on NECA Real Toys Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street. Thank you very much, and class is dismissed.